Recently, a massive controversial situation has erupted in the community involving the Roblox YouTuber Parlo, where he's been accused of engaging in inappropriate conversations with people as young as 12 at a time when Parlo was 19. On top of that, many individuals were spreading screenshots trying to destroy Parlo's reputation by claiming that he's a PDF file. In this video, I'll be breaking down the entire situation, exposing the misinformation, and making sure the truth comes out on top. So make sure to like and subscribe to help spread awareness and support Parlo. Let's start with the UTTP, a group notorious for fabricating tweets using inspect element to completely make things up about YouTubers. And Parlo, he became one of their prime targets. These people didn't just make fake messages, they created entire harassment campaigns and dedicated sites just to spread fabricated screenshots and misinformation about him. You might remember from one of my previous videos, Parlo's father hijacked his YouTube account and used that moment of vulnerability to blackmail him. But what many didn't realize is how the UTTP swooped in during that chaos to exploit the situation even further. They twisted a private personal crisis into something far darker. They faked screenshots using inspect element to make it look like Parlo had admitted to having illegal material. And since Parlo didn't have access to his social media at the time, he wasn't able to address anything. Even worse, the UTTP openly coordinated this harassment. Their own forum posts show them encouraging others to spam fake screenshots under any tweet involving Parlo. This wasn't just trolling, it was an organized smear campaign. One of the people behind the fake screenshots even posted a tutorial showing others how to create fake Parlo tweets. And even though their website claims that it's all just a joke and all their actions are satire, people take them seriously. And what's more disappointing is how some Roblox commentary channels, the ones who should know better, actually fell for it. They took these blatantly doctored screenshots at face value and ran with them, fueling the fire and amplifying the damage without the slightest bit of fact checking. The truth, this was never a situation based on reality, it was a hit job based on lies. Now, let's move on to the most manipulated and misunderstood aspect of this entire situation, Dupe. Now, Dupe is a 13-year-old who actively pretended to be 17, even claiming that he was turning 18 soon. And this wasn't some offhand joke or vague exaggeration, it was a deliberate, calculated lie. One he maintained for over a year across every single conversation he had with Parlo. The receipts are crystal clear. In one message, Dupe says he'll have to do something when he turns 18. Parlo replies, "Oh, so you have a whole year," and Dupe confirms, "Yeah, that right there confirms it." Parlo believed that Dupe was 17 based on what he himself said. And when you're communicating with someone online over years, you go off of the information you're given. Parlo had no reason to think otherwise. He can't read people's brains. Dupe wasn't just pretending, he was performing. This wasn't just one or two messages. Dupe repeatedly said things like, "I'm 17 turning 18, and I'll be 18 in a year." These weren't just slip-ups, they were consistent, repeated lies designed to build a believable identity. And it didn't just stop at age. Dupe built an entire persona, a struggling older teen dealing with trauma. He talked about drinking, doing drugs, having a job at Aldi, things no 13-year-old should even be able to fake with that level of detail. But he did, convincingly. That's what makes this whole situation even more disturbing. Because Parlo didn't prey on a kid, he was deceived by one. And here's where it gets darker. This isn't the first time Dupe has done something like this. The history between Parlo and Dupe actually dates back to early 2023, long before these recent allegations. Back then, Dupe gained Parlo's trust and then doxed him, leaked his personal information, and spread Parlo's private photos without consent. He even started calling Parlo a publicly back in 2023, trying to ruin his reputation. Eventually, the drama died down and the two reconnected, and Parlo forgave him. He started talking again, a lot, and as things became more personal, Parlo opened up more about his loneliness, his confusion around dating, and from there, their conversations took on a more romantic tone. Let me be clear, both parties were emotionally vulnerable, but Parlo believed he was talking to someone his age, someone he could trust. Here are just a few examples from their chat logs. These weren't messages of grooming, these were mutual expressions of affection under false pretenses. Dupe lied to Parlo about who he was, and Parlo responded like someone who thought he'd found a genuine connection. But just like in 2023, Dupe stabbed him in the back. Again, he suddenly went public with the DMs, spinning the story into a narrative that Parlo, at 19, knowingly dated a 12-year-old, even though in reality, he now claims he was 13 back then. When he posted the story on Reddit, it exploded, racking up over 3,000 upvotes. And in that post, Dupe wrote, "Parlo exposed Pyrocynical for a 4-year age gap while dating a 12-year-old himself." That is pure character assassination. Immediately, Reddit users from Pyrocynical's page started calling Parlo a PDF file. One wrote, "Castrate the bastard." Another one mocked him saying, "I guess it's not so fun when people do it to him, huh?" These aren't just insults, these are life-ruining accusations, and they're all built on lies. And the hate didn't just come from anonymous Redditors. Even Nathrix, a confirmed predator, someone who was exposed for actual grooming and abuse, started pushing this false narrative, claiming that Parlo dated a 13-year-old. The irony is insane. So let's recap really quickly. Dupe lied about his age for over a year, he constructed a fake identity to gain Parlo's trust, he leaked Parlo's personal messages again, just like he did in 2023, and now he's falsely accusing Parlo of being a PDF file for the second time. This isn't a one-off misunderstanding, this is a pattern, and the real victim here is not Dupe, it's Parlo.
But I mean, this was someone who I trusted a lot with personal things. I talked about a lot of my problems, I vented a lot to them, and they'd backstabbed me before, but profusely apologized for doing that, and we became friends again. And it's the fact that they would do it for a second time, and then they would post this on a subreddit right after he told me that he lied about his age. I cut him off there and then. I literally told him straight up I found it disgusting. Retroactively looking back on everything, I cut him off, and I told him that the situation between me and him, like, if it were to come out, people, bad faith actors, would use it to try and deflect away from either their own allegations or their icons' allegations. Dupe knew this and then went straight to the Pyrocynical subreddit, defended the 4-year age gap, and then decided to bring this up, leaving crucial context out with the fact that he lied. And he knows how bad that was, and he tried to do it nonetheless, because he wanted to try and screw me over. And it's the fact that people like him just carry on backstabbing me, breaking my trust. And he literally stated in private Twitter DMs to me as well that he wouldn't leak this stuff, because he knows that he lied to me, he catfished me. And I do take responsibility for not asking for a provisional driver's license or any form of identification. But I made sure to ask him over and over and over again for the course of however long I knew him, since late 2023, for his age. And his age remains 16 in 2023, 17 in 2024, turning 18 in 2025 before he told me in March. It's just a disgusting situation. These people in the Pyrocynical subreddit, they don't care about victims. They were actively imploring that if, in case this was false, it was good that I got a taste of my own medicine. They're sociopathic, they're disgusting, and they quite literally run by this narrative that I'm guilty until proven innocent. And with the Google Drive that was provided to them in this post exposing me, it literally proves that Dupe was lying about their age. They didn't bother actually looking into this information or even consulting my side. And there should be ramifications, there should be consequences. I'm not even talking about exposed videos, because the damage done to me because of this post, reputationally, monetarily, from people unsubscribing, perhaps from seeing this post because it's at 3,000 upvotes, or the mental strain it caused when I saw it with how much stress and unnecessary shit that I had to face because this person was lying. A video clarifying the situation isn't nearly enough.
Now, let's talk about the legal reality. While the internet loves to rush straight to judgment, the law deals in facts and intent. Here's the truth. There's no legal case against Parlo, and there never was. The situation took place in the United Kingdom, where the age of consent is 16, not 18 like in some parts of the US. And most importantly, Dupe told Parlo he was 17 turning 18. While Parlo himself had just turned 19. So based on what he was told, the assumed age gap was about 2 years at most. That's not grooming, that's not behavior, and that's not illegal in the UK, not even close. And here's what really matters legally. Intent. Under UK law, as in most jurisdictions, being deceived about someone's age, especially online, removes criminal liability. Courts recognize that people can be lied to, especially in digital conversations where verifying someone's real age is nearly impossible. If there's no reasonable way you could have known someone was underage, you're not guilty of anything. And Parlo made his stance on age crystal clear, not just privately, but in the messages that Dupe tried to weaponize against him. In his own words, Parlo literally said, "I would never date anyone 2.2 years younger than me. That's not someone with predatory intent, that's someone setting personal boundaries, someone trying to navigate confusing emotions online while staying within what they believed were safe, appropriate limits." But Dupe lied. He consistently claimed to be 17. He said he was turning 18 soon. He talked about having a job at Aldi. He shared stories about drinking, trauma, and relationships, all things that made his fake identity believable. So when people online scream, "Parlo the 13-year-old, they're not only just ignoring the facts, they're rejecting basic legal principles. In Parlo's own words, "I literally never knew his age, the age gap narrative is fake, the screenshots are manipulated, and there is zero evidence I knowingly did anything wrong." And every bit of available evidence backs him up. There was no coercion, no manipulation, no grooming, just emotional vulnerability rooted in a lie. The legal system doesn't punish people for being lied to. It doesn't treat victims of fraudulent misrepresentation as criminals. And if anything, it recognized that publicly framing someone for a crime they didn't commit, especially with faked or manipulated evidence, can be grounds for defamation or malicious falsehood, especially in the UK. So no, there's no grooming case here. There's no criminal behavior on Parlo's part, just a targeted campaign of manipulation, deceit, and public character assassination led by someone who once called him a friend. And let's not forget, Dupe's history of lying goes far beyond Parlo. Just a few months ago, Dupe completely fabricated a situation where he accused a YouTuber named Project Supreme of stealing a friend's username, which allegedly led to bans and item losses in Roblox. But the story totally fake. Parlo showed that Dupe even admitted he made the whole thing up for clout. Even more dangerous, Dupe and his friends Natspop nearly derailed the entire Potamer investigation by faking evidence. They almost destroyed months of work that could have helped real victims. Dupe was involved in that too. And if that's not disturbing enough, there are allegations that Dupe himself was in possession of CP. The archives of those DMs, the same messages Dupe himself leaked, showed that he was in possession of CP material. This guy lies so often, it's hard to tell what's real anymore, and that's exactly why his claims shouldn't be taken at face value. This isn't just a case of someone lying to look innocent. This is someone weaponizing deception, exploiting trauma, and manipulating public outrage to destroy a YouTuber who never wronged him. So to everyone still parroting that false Reddit post, maybe take a step back and ask yourself, why did Dupe lie about his age for over a year? Why did he act like a victim in public while playing the role of a mature adult behind the scenes? And maybe, just maybe, realize that Parlo isn't the in this story, he's the prey. This entire situation was built on manipulation. Make sure to like and subscribe with notifications and join the Discord server as this is an ongoing situation.